Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I would like to present to you 3 articles. And before I do that, I would like to let you know this is for review, uh, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. Okay? Um, so, with that said, let me get to the article. Sorry, the full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, The Messenger, and the story by Claire Cameron. Just trying to make sure that it is recording because last time recording didn't work. Now, to the headline. 3D printed rocket startup bags deal to launch Intelsat satellites. 3D printed rocket startup bags deal to launch Intel satellites. The Terran R has never flown, but it will be fully operational by 2026, according to Relativity Space. Published, updated. That's Claire Cameron, and you can see a picture of the person here. If it would, there we go. That's copyright Jason Connolly / AFP via Getty Images. Tim Ellis is the CEO of 3D printed rocket company that is Relativity Space. Okay. SpaceX rival Relativity Space has linked a deal with Intelsat, a stored communication satellite company, started in the 1960s to launch its satellites to onboard a 3D printed rocket that has yet to be built. Relativity plans to use the Terran R rocket, which is supposed to be fully operational by 2026. The rocket is made up of 3D printed parts and designed to carry loads on similar scale to say SpaceX's Falcon 9, between 51,000 to 74,000 pounds. Similarity to SpaceX's flagship rocket is not lost on Relativity's CEO, Tim Ellis, who has been vocal in his desire to break Elon Musk's rocket company's stranglehold on heavyweight commercial launches. As companies, including SpaceX, look to put increasing number of satellites in orbit, either as part of a satellite internet constellation or something else, this demand for a heavy load launcher rocket ticks up. Relativity launched a rocket with 3D printed parts in March. Terran 1, which made it to space, but not to orbit. Terran R has yet to be launched, tested, but Intelsat's deal means it may be worth betting on it making beyond the Kármán line sooner rather than later. And here we have a video of it. And this will be related. This is a related video. The future of Internet of Our Planet Starlink satellites, WNCN Raw League. And this will be available upon the publishing on Rumble, but not on YouTube, because YouTube does not allow links to be put in the comment section, even though it cites the source. So that's unfortunate, but that's on YouTube. That's not on me. And therefore, the only way to be able to see this video, unless you can remember the name of the headline and like Google search it or Bing search it or whatever, is to get the link from my video that I'll be uploading on Rumble. Okay, let's go to the second article here. And before I read the article, and I don't know what the heck this is, I don't want that. What's this stupid thing? Stupid, I don't care about that. Oh, whatever. They put stupid ad choices thing on there. Okay, anyway. Let me try to refresh the page so I don't see that stupid irrelevant thing. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, before I read this article, I would like to let you know, as I usually do, almost every single time in fact, that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. Full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is BNN, that is BNN Breaking, and the story by Aksa Yunus Rana, if I've pronounced the person's name right. And the headline reads, U.S. chip strategy shifts, South Korea's semiconductor future amid U.S.-China tech war. And here we can see a picture of a circuit board with what they call ICs, or integrated circuits, otherwise known as a chip. This is copyright provided by BNN Breaking. U.S. chip strategy shifts, South Korea's semiconductor future amid U.S.-China tech war. You can see whether each one of these are called contacts, which are basically a place where a copper wire. See these wires here are solder, which means you take the metal, and you take what's called a soldering gun, or not a soldering gun, a solder, which is like a hot metal, right? It melts the metal onto that part of the board. So each one of those places where you melt into is called a contact, and those are places on the board where current can flow. So you have the chip itself here, and I don't know what these are, if that's a capacitor or whatever they are. But anyway, you can see what would be on this board. Now, amid the escalating tech war between the U.S. and China, a significant milestone has been reached that is set to impact global semiconductor industry. The U.S. has granted Samsung Electronic and SK Hynix, the South Korean giants of the semiconductor world, indefinite waivers to supply their China-based factories with U.S. chip equipment. This move, while easing immediate concerns, barely scratches the surface of the challenges faced by South Korean chip makers in the high-stakes game of the global semiconductor market. Breaking down the waiver, a temporary relief, the U.S. Department of Commerce has updated its validated end-user list to include Samsung and SK Hynix, thereby eliminating the need to separate export permissions. As the world's largest and second-largest memory chip makers, these companies control a significant share of the global DRAM and NAND flash markets. Their production facilities in China account for a notable chunk of their output. Hence, the U.S.'s decision, while perceived as a positive development for a global semiconductor supply chain, still leaves the industry under the shadow of the ongoing U.S.-China trade conflict and the restrictions imposed under the U.S. Chips and Science Act. And South Korea's semiconductor dilemma. Before I read about that, I would like to let you know that there is a video here that you'll be able to access upon publishing this video, but only on Rumble, as YouTube does not allow links in the comment section, even if it does link back to where the article came from, which I find is quite stupid and foolish, but that's what they do. So therefore, it's unfortunate people who see this on YouTube won't have that benefit. What you'll need to do is take note of the headline title and search it on Google or some search engine like Bing or whatever, and then you'll be able to find it and do it that way. So the actual link to the article itself that'll link you to this embedded video will only be available on Rumble, which is the point. The tech war has pushed South Korea into a tight spot. As U.S. defense rules limiting China's access to chip technology, Seoul finds itself wrestling to ensure the survival and competitiveness of its semiconductor companies. The predicament is further complicated by U.S. shifting chip strategy, which appears to be moving towards strengthening export controls on the high-end chip technology. This could potentially devastate South Korean firms if they were to lose their technological edge. Navigating the geopolitical landscape. As the geopolitical landscape becomes increasingly complex, South Korea, along with China and Japan, must seek to deepen cooperation to consolidate the industry chain and ensure supply chain stability. The semiconductor industry, often seen as the backbone of modern economies, is now at the mercy of geopolitics and trade wars. South Korea's survival is in the high-stakes game. It depends not only on its adaptability, but also on its ability to navigate the geopolitical complexities. Excuse me. Looking ahead, the future of the semiconductor industry. While the waiver begins temporary relief to South Korean chip makers, It is but a small part of the larger picture, with the U.S. semiconductor strategy in flux and the looming possibility of a tougher export controls. The future of the industry remains uncertain, and the dust settles in the global semiconductor market. The only certainty is that there will be winners and losers in the high-stakes tech war. The question that remains is, where will South Korea stand when that happens? The post-U.S. chip strategy shifts South Korean semiconductor future amid U.S.-China tech war appeared first on BNN Breaking. All right, so that will end our second article. Excuse me. Now let's go to our third article. Now this is from a country I don't hear much news about these days. My computer seems to be going a little slowly. There we go. And before I read the article, I would like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. The intellectual property of the article. The intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Cryptopolitan, and the story by Glory Hubbard, if I pronounced the person's name right. Now to the headline. Malaysia prioritizes AI education to meet industry demands. In a recent address, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim underscored the imperative of bolstering the nation's capabilities in artificial intelligence, or AI, particularly with tertiary education. The Prime Minister's call to action stems from a recognition of Malaysia's perceived lag in the rapidly advancing field of AI, critical domain that intertwines the various industry sectors. Anwar has conveyed the urgency of this matter to key stakeholders in educational sectors, including the ministers of higher education, Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin, and several university vice-chancellors, urging them to prioritize AI in their academic offerings and research initiatives. Aligning education with industry needs. The Prime Minister highlighted the gap between the nation's current AI qualification and the stringent demands of high-level industry requirements. An illustrative case is provided by Geely, an automotive industry giant, which has noted the proficiency of the Malaysian engineers, but also emphasized their need for specific expertise in the automotive sector. Geely found training 300 engineers at its university in Beijing, China, necessary to meet its specialized needs. Anwar expressed his intention to engage in dialogues with Geely and other industry leaders to pinpoint specific disciplines and skills that need to be integrated into the training provided at Malaysian universities. Collaborative efforts for skill development. Before we talk about that, we'd like to let you know there is a video here. Of course, they had to have an ad. But anyway, this video will be available only on Rumble, as I will not be able to include the link to this article that has the embedded video, because of the fact that YouTube does not allow you to include links to your video, to your articles, even though it cites the source of where the article came from. So that's unfortunate, but the good news is that you'll be able to access it on Rumble instead of YouTube. So if you don't have a Rumble account, what I recommend you do is get a Rumble account, because it won't be available on YouTube. Right? Now, Anwar's and the headline of this article that I'll have for the review here will be the same for both Rumble and YouTube. So if you put that into Rumble, you'll be able to watch it. So, collaborative efforts for skill development. Anwar's forthcoming decisions with Geely signal a potential collaborative pathway where educational industries work hand in hand to sculpt the future workforce. Universities can tailor the program and train to align seamlessly with industry requirements by identifying specific disciplines and skills in high demand. This symbiotic relationship ensures that graduates are industry ready and industries have access to talent pool equipped with requisite knowledge and skills to drive innovation and growth. Navigating the future of AI in Malaysia. The Prime Minister's emphasis on AI is not merely about catching up, but strategically navigating Malaysia's path forward in a global landscape where AI is increasingly pivotal. The nation's readiness to build local skill talent and mitigate a mismatch between education and high-skilled job opportunity is crucial. This involves enhancing the technical curriculum and fostering the ecosystem where innovation, research, and practical applications of AI are intertwined with the nation's development goals. The strategic enhancement of AI expertise in Malaysia, as Prime Minister Anwar advocates, is not merely a necessity but a pivotal movement towards ensuring the nation's competitive stance on the global stage. By bridging the skills gap, aligning educational outcomes with industry needs, and fostering collaborative efforts between academia and industry, Malaysia is poised to navigate the complexities of the opportunities provided or presented by AI. The journey towards AI mastery is multifaceted, including strategic planning, collaborative efforts, and steadfast commitment to elevating the nation's education and industry standards with global advancement in technology and innovation. And that will do it for our third article, which concludes our review in terms of the three articles. Before I conclude the overall review of the three articles, I would like to pose a question to you. What do you think of these three articles? Namely, the first one being that 3D printed rocket startup bags deal to launch Intelsat satellites. The second one being that U.S. chip strategy shifts South Korea's semiconductor future amid U.S.-China tech war. And then Malaysia prioritizes AI education to meet industry needs. What do you think of those articles? Are they useful? Is it relevant to your life? What do you think of them? You're welcome to give your opinion about it in the comments below. Just give the reasons why. But just keep in mind that there are two strict ground rules that must be met. The first one is no derogatory languages. We're trying to keep this civil and add something positive to the experience. Number two, no threatening language. And when I say threatening language, I'm referring to threats of physical violence. I'm not talking about factual things, such as if you mix two hydrogen atoms with one oxygen atom, you get water, or what's the temperature outside, or you mix this chemical with this chemical and you get this result, etc. So that those rules have to be very strictly followed, as I cannot have either one of them in the comments section, either infringements, because it is a liability, and if either one is infringed upon, I will ban the user from commenting in the comments below, as you would do with anybody who has a video. It has to be civil, it has to be true, and it can't be anything threatening, so just basic stuff. So I would like to thank you for watching this video. What I'd like you to do is please click the thumbs up or like on the video. That way it'll be pushed to the algorithm where people will be able to see it and view it and benefit from being informed of the news. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll have access to all the content on the channel, as I do have a variety of content that you can benefit from and enjoy on the channel. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. I would like to take this time to thank you for watching this video. I wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.